Hello and welcome along to another episode of this FM19 story, The Head Coach with me, Daniel. It's season 4, episode 1, and oh my word, it's been a difficult summer. It's been painful to watch, and we go into the first game of the season against Bromley today with almost no chance of replicating last season's achievements. But before we take you through our Director of Football's summer work and that game against last year's playoff finalist Bromley, a massive thanks to everyone that continues to follow this series. It's greatly appreciated, and if you are new to the channel, then click that subscribe button for daily Football Manager content, as well as weekly videos from FIFA 19. But on to this one, I'm just trying to delay it because it's been so bad, I don't even want to talk about it. We obviously mentioned we might need to leave. We wanted to stay loyal to Slough because they'd been so good to us and given us a chance. But I'm kind of wishing I'd been more determined to get out now. We did apply for a couple of jobs, but unfortunately we didn't get even offered an interview in those. We are doing our coaching badge, so hopefully that'll change in a month or two's time. But I've got a feeling there might be another sacking on the cards by then, because the board expects us to finish in the top half. And if we look at the summer transfer business, things haven't quite gone to plan. So if we go into our transfers, our Director of Football's trying to bring in a left back, which you'll see why in a minute. But let's go to our history. There's 2 transfers in. 2. We've not renewed any of the 5 or 6 loans that went back last season. And in addition to Joe Linley leaving on a free, we've also had another player released in Wes Atkinson, another defensive-minded player. And if we go back to look at last season for loan deals, just so you can get an idea, Charles, Freeman, James and Redding have all gone back to their clubs, as has Joe Dearman, who was extended from the year before, as was Oscar Ramirez too. So we lost 6 loan players, 1 released and 1 sold on a free, and our Director of Football has bought in 2 players. It's an absolute joke, and we are in a lot of trouble going into this season. The only slight positive is we're in better shape in goal this year. Emmanuel Idem, I think that is, apologies if it's wrong, is a 4-star goalkeeper with 4.5-star potential. At just 22 years of age, he's got plenty of experience at Eastleigh, and he can also play as a sweeper keeper, which I do tend to prefer, especially as we move up the leagues. So that was in late June, and things were looking positive at that point. We followed it up with a free signing in mid-July, Luke Rowe from Coventry, a 3-star central midfielder with 5-star potential. Again, the other position we really struggled last year to find someone to partner Makaka. And I think we've probably found that man in Luke Rowe. However, as you can probably imagine from the loans that have gone back, there are a lot of gaps in the squad. And that wouldn't be quite so much of a problem if it wasn't for the money-grabbing nature of it from both the board and Director of Football. So if we go to our squad quickly, which you can see is very small, I just want to show you the contracts. So nearly all of our star players have been re-signed on free agent deals. So basically non-contract terms, pay as you play, and are free to go at any point. If we include the guys he signed for free during the summer, he's only actually kept 4 of our first team players on full contracts, which is going to become a big issue as the season goes on. I've no doubt of that. So the reason he's desperately trying to bring in a left back becomes very clear when we go to pick our team for today. We're going to go into that Bromley match. They finished second on 90-something points last year. They should have won the playoffs but lost in the final to Wealdstone. And you can see that Bromley are favourites for today, despite the fact that we're at home. They've got former Boreham Wood manager Luke Garrard in charge, and they're going to be a decent side. So we have in our first team squad, and I've included our under-23s if we bring them in as well, just so you can see because there's a couple of keepers and midfielders there. We have no left backs at the club, none at all. So Jack Batten's playing there today. He's our 5th choice centre half, a right-footed only player who's competent at left back as an inverted wing back. So that's going to end in absolute disaster, but we have no choice. The only other player who could have played left back is Luke Fairlam. He was our reserve left winger last year who we ended up putting in the under-23s. And the reason he can't cover there is because he's the only left midfielder at the club. Another area where we've lost our 2 loan players and there's been a complete neglect to replace them. Left backs I can accept that he's been trying to get them in, but left midfield he's just ignored it totally. So it's not going particularly well so far. If we look at the rest of the side, it's pretty similar to last year. We haven't got a choice if Williams Lowe drops his form this year because Wes Atkinson's been released, the former professional player, one of the only ones with a fairly professional personality in the squad that was doing all of our tutoring and mentoring, meaning that there's a huge hole in developing these young players' personalities off the pitch. We have managed to keep our front 2 together, who are good players, but obviously Jatter's on non-contract terms now, so I'd imagine that will harm his training development. Makaka stayed in central midfield and Daly stayed on the right, but obviously they're in exactly the same position too. And Rob Atkinson is ageing at the back, and I have no doubt he'll be out of the team before the end of the year. The only positive I think is Okadina, who seems to be developing quite nicely. I know he's still got a few deficiencies mentally, but at 20 years of age he is at least showing aptitude to improve, and he's one of the few players the director of football's given a proper contract to. We'll also give a special mention to Aaron Jarvis, because he's our second best outfield player according to the star ratings. He is declining in training a bit, he's not been the best. He's been a poor trainer ever since he got here, to be honest. But as long as he and Jatta score goals, we'll have absolutely no complaints. So let's get into the game. The squad picks itself, because we've only got 15 players in the first team, and obviously we've promoted Fairlam as well for this one. So the new signing, Idem's in goal. We've got Batten and Williams low as the fullbacks, which is obviously the weak link of the team. Or in fact, the whole left flank could be exploited too. We've got Atkinson and Okadina at centre-half. Fairlam and Daly are the wingers, with Rowe and McCarker in central midfield. And Jarvis and Jatta, the deadly duo up front. And they are going to need to be more deadly than ever. I'm just seeing if I could change Jarvis to a target man on attack. I'm going to try something a little bit different and see how it works. With the few players we've got, we want to try and get them into their preferred roles. But let's get into it. It's going to end in disaster. We've not changed anything tactically because we haven't really changed much of the team. Most of the players that are here were still here last season. It's just that some of them were backup players as we've lost the first team options. It's a 4-4-2 for us as always, a 3-5-2 for Bromley, and it caused us plenty of problems last year, so encouraging the lads is probably going to make no difference here. Obviously our last competitive game was against Bromley as well, as they beat us 2-0 in the playoff semi-final in the last episode. I probably should have said spoiler before that for those of you that hadn't seen it, but with a couple of minutes gone, it's cleared out for a throw-in and we survive. Fairlam with a free kick which forces a good save from Evans. It was nice to have a shot on target. I didn't even expect that today. Warren in the middle of the pitch for Bromley finds Patchin. Patchin running to the edge on a post, has a shot but it's over the bar and we survive comfortably again, but Bromley are just starting to get on top in the middle of the pitch. Okadina gets the ball back at centre half, don't do anything silly, finds Idem the keeper to Williams low. Williams low gets the ball out to Daly. Daly on the right hand side, beats his man, tries to put the ball into the box but it's given away. Warren goes long over the top and Williams low loses out in the air. Patchin running at the edge of the box again, goes for the shot but it's wide. They keep going from long distance which we're quite happy with, but if one goes in eventually we'll have to come out and play. The long goal kick from the Bromley keeper finds Okadina. Daly gets the ball out wide to Aaron Jarvis. First we've seen of him in this game and he gives it away with a long ball into the box. It's over the top for Charman. Shoots, beats the keeper. It's 1-0. And there you go. Our hopes of getting a result today are over. And I have absolutely no idea how we're supposed to finish in the top half this year until we get a full left wing that's replaced the rubbish we have there at the moment. They're not just rubbish generally, but they're rubbish on the left wing, particularly Batten, who's a decent centre-half, but he can't play left-back to save his life. Rowe's got the ball out to Fairlam. Fairlam is definitely the weak link of the team in terms of ability, but McCarker goes for a shot from the edge, and it's just wide of the post. It was a great effort, but if that's all we're going to be restricted to, we're not going to get anything out of this match. Fossey on the right wing goes for the delivery. Does he? He gets it into the front post. Patchin beats Batten to the ball, but he blocks the shot, and it's a fantastic interception to put it out for a corner. Bromley have got an in-swinger with Adam. Adam finds Winter at the back post, but Batten again's there to win it. And I tell you what, he's had a fairly decent game, but largely because he's been sucked up into the middle of defence most of the game, as we've been absolutely dominated by Bromley. Fossey with a header from the corner, and Idem gathers the ball. The one thing we are going to think about doing is perhaps go into a 3-5-2, as we now have lots of central midfield options at the club, and obviously a few strikers too, but it does rely on us getting someone on the left wing who can play there. We have got Williams low, who's not too bad at right wing back, and obviously Daly can drop back there as well. But in left wing back areas, we haven't got anyone at all. And Batten can't cover there at all. So that's why. Atkinson at the back post from the corners lost out in the air. And now Patchin can bring the ball away. Patchin over halfway line. He's got two running up with him. Finds Barnes, but Okadina's back to intercept. And he can clear it away to Daly down the right. Charges over halfway line on the right hand side. Beats his man and puts it into Jatta at the back post. Brings it down, cuts it back, but Warren clears away. And it falls to Batten, who finds Fairlam down the line. Crosses to the back post for Jarvis. It's a good header, but Evans makes a good save down to his right hand side. But it's us again with Jatta now to Rowe. Finds McCarker on the edge. It'd be the perfect time to score. McCarker shoots from the edge of the box, but it's comfortably wide. But you've got to applaud him for having a go in difficult circumstances. We're 1-0 down at half time, and I'm surprised how much we've been in this game, to be honest, because they're a far better side. We're going to say we're disappointed and get a few of them motivated, but in truth, I'd be delighted to just lose this 1-0. Idem the keeper with a ball out to Williams low on the right. McCarker gets it wide to Daly from the kickoff, and now McCarker again. He's got Williams low, but instead he goes inside to Rowe, who switches it out to Fairlam, the poor left winger. Fairlam delivers to Jatta, just on the left side of the box, tries to cut it back, but it's intercepted, and now Charman gets Barnes in behind. Barnes into the penalty area on the left. Williams low makes a sliding tackle and just about gets it. Daly goes over the top towards Jatta. The keeper's in no man's land, but he just gets enough on it to clear it to the left flank to Fairlam, Fairlam goes for the shot, but it's absolutely awful, and from 50 yards he just puts it into Evans' hands. 2 minutes into the second half, but I'm glad that we've had a couple of chances. It's a throw-in for Bromley with 5 minutes into the second half now. McLaughlin gets the ball back to Fossey, patching in the area, goes for the shot, but it's blocked, and McCarker should get there first, but he's beaten to it by Warren. McCarker does win it back the second time then, and then loses it to Warren again. Fairlam's been booked. We've got a warning to get him to calm down in the tackles. McLaughlin on the edge of the box, goes for the shot, it's straight at the keeper, it hits the target, but it's a comfortable save. Barnes with a free kick on the edge for Bromley, hits the bar, patching on a rebound hits the bar as well. 2 in a row. I don't know how we survived that, but luckily it is still 1-0, but it's all Bromley after a bright start to the half for us. Warren gets the ball to Patchin, shoots from the edge but it's blocked. Okadine has been sensational today, and McCarker clears it away but only as far as Winter. Adam gets the ball back to McLaughlin and now Patchin. Patchin with a shot, but it's over the bar, and we can comfortably deal with those ones. Nearly an hour on the clock now. We'll think about subs shortly, but we've got the ball on the right wing and passed it into McCarker. Out to Fairlam on the left wing. Awful touch and it's cleared. I don't think we've got anyone to bring on for him, even though he's been awful. Charman puts the shot wide, and I wish we had some substitute options. I might just put Bridge on the left wing and see what happens. Idem with a free kick, along towards Jarvis, who holds it up well this time. McCarker gets it to Daly on the right flank. Daly inside to McCarker again, and Daly gets the ball back for the third time. He gets it to Williams low on the right-hand side of the pitch. Long ball in from deep. Jatta wins the header. I tell you what, the keeper was out of position, but he just recovered down to his right to get there just before the ball crossed the line. Evans with a long kick which finds Atkinson. Jatta's got the ball on halfway now to Fairlam on the left. Fairlam taking on the man, delivers towards Jarvis, wins the header and it's in. Aaron Jarvis with a great goal, and I take back everything about Fairlam because that was a fantastic delivery. It might be the only one he produces in the game, but what a cross that was for the goal, and we're back on level terms remarkably against last season's promotion favourites. It's Adam with a corner for Bromley. I hope we don't give it away again. Batten heads the ball away. He's been really good covering at left back for us. A job he's not particularly good at, but he's done his best for the club. McLaughlin on the edge, shoots. It's a great effort, but it's just wide of the post. The power on that. But we'll make some subs with 15 minutes to go. Fairlam's looking nervous, so we will take him off actually. We just want to give him a rest, but he's done a job for us. And it looks like he's definitely going to be our backup left winger this year, because there's no chance of our director of football bringing in two. He's barely looked to bring in one so far. McCarker's had a really poor game. We're going to bring Brandon Kane on for him. Neither of them are particularly good in their roles. We might move Brandon Kane to a central midfielder on automatic. We'll keep Rowe where he is. The other sub I want to make is Seika Jatta. He's not had the best game, so we'll get Papi Gay on up front. Is he a target man on attack? He's not particularly, but he will be for this game. And Aaron Jarvis will go in as the advanced forward, I think. Although he could be a pressing man too. In fact, let's switch them round. Jarvis can be the target man on attack, and we'll have Papi Gay as the pressing forward. And you know what? He can attack as well. Two big men up there. Let's lump the ball into the box. One team instruction we want to change. We want to float crosses, because we've now got a strike force that can compete with any defence at this level in the air. It's a free kick over Bromley. Adam gets the ball into the box. The keeper comes and claims and does well. That's what we've been missing here at Slough. We had Freeman last year, who was a good keeper, but he had a clanger in him and wasn't particularly good at commanding his area. Batten gets the ball to Bridge on the halfway line. Inside to Jarvis. Papi goes running off him, but he shoots from a ridiculous range, and it's gone well over the bar, and he starts clapping someone for some unknown reason. 10 minutes to go, and if we can hold on for a point, I will be a very happy man, based on the squad we've got and the performance in today's game. Couple of minutes to go. Batten with a throw in from the left back area. It's won back by the Bromley player, but it goes straight back to him. Rowe finds Brandon Kane on the edge. Oh, the youngster has a shot, but it's just over the bar. And as we go into stoppage time, I think it's time we hold on for a point. We're going to time waste all the time. We're also going to slow the pace down when we get the ball. We're not going to drop our mentality. We don't want to drop back and be too defensive. It's just taking our time with the kicks to waste a few little seconds and make sure that we've got a better chance of getting a point. But it's a throw in on the left for Bromley with Adam. We're just zoom out a bit so we can see. Barnes gets the ball into Warren. McLaughlin shoots, and Iden makes a good save down to his right hand side. I appreciate I've changed my pronunciation of his name pretty much every time I've said it. Let me know in the comments if you're sure which one it is. Is it Idem or Idem? And I promise you I'll then get it right in a few episodes' time, as I'll probably be a few days ahead in recordings. Gay gets the ball out to Daly on the right. I didn't think he'd keep that in, but it looks like he will, and that's the disadvantage of a small stadium. Gay tries to deliver. It was a last chance to get a goal, but unfortunately it's not to be. But with 5 seconds left, we should still hold on for the point. Williams low heads it away as far as Adam on the left wing. He's going to cross it in, is he? It's deflected behind for a throw. Blow the whistle, ref. We want the point. And if we can get a point against the side who finished second last year and got 90-something points, then we have made a remarkable achievement based on the team we had available today. And if we can get that left back in, and maybe just a left winger, we'll be in good stead for the rest of the season. Batten heads the ball away, and the final whistle does go. A 1-1 draw. Aaron Jarvis is off the mark for the season. And I tell you what, Neil Sorville, my assistant, telling me not to be too hard on them. I want to tell them what a great comeback it was. They were excellent. Let's get the morale up. A fantastic performance and result. A special mention to Batten and Fairlam, who would never have been in the side in a million years if we'd got proper signings in. But Fairlam set up the goal with a great cross in an otherwise atrocious performance. And Jack Batten was one of our best defenders playing at left back, a position he's not particularly comfortable with. Bath looked like the early runners. They've had a 4-0 win on the first day of the season. If we go and have a look at the season preview, I didn't check to see where they expect us to finish. We're 9th favourites, so I tell you what, there must be a lot of sides missing more than 2 players. If we can be 9th favourites without having a left back, then maybe the season won't be so bad. In other news, Hemel Hempstead sacked another manager after finishing 8th last year, and now you can see the 16th favourites. They were down in 21st a few weeks ago, so they must have done some business towards the end of pre-season. If you look at Bromley, they're 5-1 on. They're the clear heavy favourites to win the league this year, and we've done a remarkable job to get a point at home, and it shows just what a good result that was. If we go and see what they've said about the game, we hold Bromley to a draw. I know Bromley had more shots, but you saw they were just shooting from anywhere. It was a fairly even game. We had a decent number of shots ourselves, and the possession was almost 50-50. A fantastic performance. We've got teams chasing our players purely because they're all on non-contract terms, and in the National League there will be plenty of sides looking for cheap backup options, and these guys who are earning nothing at the moment will happily go to them for a couple of hundred a week. Idem made his debut and had a really good game. Luke Rowe was solid in the middle of midfield as well, so the 2 signings we have got in I'm really happy with. We just need a few more, so Nathan Collier, come on, pull your finger out, son. You've got plenty of wage budget because you've put everyone on non-contract terms. $3,500 a week left, 20,000 transfers as well. If we look at the player that rejected him, he tried to sign Kai Sanders. He's a left back from Charlton who rejected us for Bath, and based on the first day of the season, that probably looks like a good choice. He had a really good game for them and would have been such a good option for us, but unfortunately it wasn't to be. And now he's trying to get in 17-year-old Adam Clark. No experience at all, but I tell you what, tackling aside, and in fact just technically aside in general, physically he's brilliant, mentally he's really good, he's got a good personality, and if we could teach him how to tackle and mark, he might be a hell of a good player, and I'm happy to give him a year of experience here. He can cross a ball as well, so going forward he might be a good option, and I really hope that that one goes through. Let's just check if there's anyone else chasing him. There's not, so hopefully he won't reject us, and he'll be here before we play our next game, which I think is in 3 days' time, against Canvey Island, who got battered by Bath in that game. We'll deal with the press conference off camera in a minute. We'll just go to our schedule to see when we might be back next. There's a few games coming up that are quite big. We're not going to show all the Hemel Hempstead games this year because according to the pre-season predictions, it shouldn't even be a close competition. But based on that first game of the season, I think we have to come back for the Bath match. It's the side we could have been in charge of, as we mentioned before, and they seem to have had the best start to the season of any team. So we'll be back in mid-September for that one, and if we've got a good draw in the FA Cup qualifying round, we might make it a double-header too, though I suppose that depends on how many transfers we've got to talk about. I do remember we had a similar thing last year with our director of football here. He did bring in a few really late good loan signings, so hopefully he can produce 2 or 3 again, and we'll go into that game in much stronger shape. But if you did enjoy this episode and this opening game of the season, please chuck a thumbs up on there. We love to get as many as possible for a first day of the season. It's always my favourite day of the year. The optimism you have, or in this case the worries you have, before everything changes as soon as you kick the first ball of the year. Let me know in the comments what you think of our 2 signings and how many you think our director of football needs to bring in. Obviously we don't have a say in what happens, but I'll be interested to see if you think our weak links are the same as I do. And as always, for the first episode of the season, get your predictions in. Whereabouts are we going to finish this season? And do you think we should move on from Slough if the opportunity arises? Personally, I think we should, but until we get that coaching badge, I don't think we're going to be considered for any jobs higher up, because our reputation is too low. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager content from my 2 FM19 stories, this one The Head Coach, as well as my other series Part of the Furniture with Torquay United, the One Club Challenge where we attempt to take them from the bottom playable league in England all the way to the top of world football. There's also weekly content every Friday from my FIFA 19 lower league career with Crew Alexandra. But a massive thanks for watching this one as always, and we'll see you next time.